Have you ever known someone who just doesn't care about their birthday? Or maybe that person is you. You might get comments like, "Oh, come on, you have to celebrate," or "Why aren't you excited?" It's often seen as strange, maybe even a little sad. But what if treating your birthday like any other day isn't about a lack of joy? What if it's actually a powerful psychological statement about emotional maturity and a quiet rebellion against the societal pressure to perform happiness on demand? Today, we diving deep into the fascinating psychology of people who do make a big deal out of their birthdays. It's not about being a party pooper. It's about a unique emotional landscape, one shaped by introspection, independence, and sometimes past disappointments that have led to a different way of seeing the world. Psychological studies and observations show that individuals who skip the fanfare often share some common traits. They tend to have a heightened sense of self. Instead of a big, loud party, they prefer quiet reflection. They find genuine contentment not in grand once-a-year gestures, but in the small, everyday moments that make up their lives. For them, these moments hold more weight than a cake and a song. This choice isn't a rejection of happiness. Far from it, it's about reclaiming autonomy. It's a conscious decision to detach their sense of self-worth from external validation. In a world obsessed with likes, shares, and public displays of affection, choosing not to center your year around a single day of attention is a radical act of self. They see birthdays not as grand stages for performance, but as personal checkpoints, a quiet moment to look back at the year that has passed and forward to the one ahead. It's a private inventory, not a public spectacle. So, where does this mindset come from? The roots often trace back to our formative years, or evolve as our personal values change over time. For some, it starts in childhood, or where big celebrations always felt forced and performative. These early experiences can shape a lifelong preference for authenticity over spectacle. If praise and celebration felt hollow then, for others, this shift happens later in life. As we grow and mature, what we value changes. The number of happy birthday posts on social media starts to feel less important than the quality of our relationships. Our self-worth becomes anchored in personal growth, in the skills we've learned, the challenges we've overcome, and the person we are becoming. It's no longer about the number of gifts received, but about the presence of genuine connection in our lives. Emotional maturity plays a massive role here. A key sign of being emotionally mature is not needing a specific date on the calendar to feel valid or valued. These individuals have learned to draw strength from within. Their self-esteem is stable. It doesn't spike on their birthday and crash the day after. They've cultivated an inner source of validation, so they don't need an external event to confirm their worth. They just don't depend on them to feel good about themselves. A significant turning point often occurs when societal expectations clash with this need for personal authenticity. We live in a culture that has very specific scripts for how we should feel and act on our birthdays. You're expected to be happy, excited, and ready to be the center of attention. For someone who is naturally introverted or who simply doesn't enjoy the spotlight, this pressure can trigger significant anxiety. It can feel like being asked to put on a mask and perform a role that is unused. To cope with this, some people develop a kind of emotional armor. They might seem indifferent or detached as a way to protect themselves from the vulnerability that comes with being celebrated. Being the focus of everyone's attention can feel exposing, and for some, it's just deeply uncomfortable. So, they preemptively shut it down to avoid the discomfort. Others simply outgrow the need for what they see as special treatment. As children, a birthday is magical because it's the one day that's all about you. But as adults with more responsibilities and a broader perspective, the idea of having one special day can seem a bit silly. They might find deeper meaning in daily gratitude and self-responsibility rather than annual recognition. This isn't a sign of sadness or withdrawal. It's a conscious, deliberate redefinition of what celebration truly means to them. It's about choosing substance over symbol. Now, what's the fallout from this? Is it all negative? Not at all. In fact, people who treat their birthdays as just another day often report higher levels of emotional stability. Because their self-worth isn't tied to this one event, they are less susceptible to the social pressures and potential disappointments that can come with it. There's no anxiety about planning the perfect party. No letdown if the day doesn't live up to sky-high expectations. They are emotionally more resilient. However, this mindset isn't always understood by others. Friends and family can sometimes misinterpret this quiet indifference. They might see it as aloofness, ingratitude, or even a sign of depression. They might think, "Don't they care that we love them?" When in reality, the person's behavior has nothing to do with rejecting love. It's about rejecting the performance of celebration. This misunderstanding can create friction in relationships, as loved ones who want to show their affection through traditional birthday rituals feel. It's also important to acknowledge that in some cases, an extreme aversion to birthdays can be a mask for deeper issues. It could be linked to unresolved loneliness, social anxiety, or trauma associated with past birthdays. If the thought of a birthday brings up intense, negative emotions, it might be worth exploring those feelings, perhaps with a mental health professional. But for the vast majority of people, it's simply a sign of healthy emotional sovereignty. It's about having the confidence to define your own happiness. So, what can we all learn from this? The lesson is profound and surprisingly simple. True self-worth is unmeasured by the size of your party or the number of presents you receive. It's measured by the consistency of meaningful, joyful, and authentic moments throughout the entire year. Choosing to celebrate life on a daily basis, finding joy in the small wins, appreciating the people around you, and being true to yourself is a quiet act of psychological empowerment. It teaches us that we don't need a spotlight to shine. We can find contentment and value right here, right now, on any ordinary day. Whether you love a big birthday bash or prefer a quiet day of reflection, the most important thing is to honor what feels authentic to you. That, in itself, is something worth celebrating. Thanks so much for watching. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. And for more insights into psychology and self-growth, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one.